Hello everyone. Bridgette and I decided to come out here in the greenhouse and wanted to film episode 2 of what we're calling Vegan in Quarantine. Now, I don't know, we just started talking. We were out here in the greenhouse quite a bit. Last episode we talked about what you can control, right? There's so much happening in the world around us that is completely out of our control. And but there are things that we do have control of, right? Our health, our mentality. There are big things, right? What we're eating, and today I think we wanted to talk a little bit about new growth. We were out here in the greenhouse, and you know, we always have ideas. And hey, it's the perfect time of year. A lot of things are happening. Let's talk about new growth today. It's getting a little warm in here. So today we're talking about new growth. What does that even mean, right? I'm here with baby Bridgette, the new member of our family, right, baby Bridgette? She's doing good. We enjoy our greenhouse time. We sure do. But I'm out here. We've got things like tomatoes, new tomatoes growing. We've got wonder berries. A lot of things happening. We've got sweet potato starts, right? These are some various types of sweet potatoes we have started. And there's a lot of things growing behind me out in the garden. This is a time of growth, just every single year around springtime, right? It's the beginning of April. If you're in most parts of the United States, you're probably noticing the weather warming up. And if you're in parts of the United States where it hasn't begun to warm up, I feel for you. We've lived in Indiana and Nebraska, and so I know what those long, drawn-out winters can feel like. But hey, here in Virginia, it's started to feel like spring. It's actually very springy, and I think we're going to miss any more late frosts. So we've gone about a week and a half, 2 weeks without a frost, and looks like we're about 2 weeks away from our last frost date, and I think we should be in the clear. Hopefully, we are crossing our fingers and really hoping that we have no more frost. We have some field corn that's planted and some summer crops that we gambled a little bit with. But we're talking about new growth, and with everything that's happening geopolitically, health-wise, pandemically, the world is in a quarantine. 30% of the world's, not the United States, 30% of the world's population right now is in some sort of self-isolation or shelter in place, meaning we're all just sitting at home. A lot of people have lost their jobs in the United States right now. About 10 million Americans have filed new claims to unemployment. I mean, just incredible things happening. Not good things, right? Incredibly unheard of things happening in the world around us and here in the States. And so, why are we talking about new growth? Why aren't we talking about all the negativity, all the things that we can't control, all the things that are happening that are you know, we lost our jobs, or you're not gonna be able to pay a mortgage, or this or that? Well, because you probably, if you turn the news on, you can hear all about it. You can hear about all the deaths. You can hear about all the symptoms and all the things that are happening with the pandemic, the stock market crashing, the potential of the housing market crash, all these terrible things that are real things that you should be informed about. But is that where you should be putting all your time and energy and mental capacity? I don't think so. I think now more than ever, it's a time to be thinking about new growth. Now, this could mean a lot of different things. If you're watching my channel, if you're watching my videos, you may just be here because of how cute Bridgette is, and that's a valid reason to be here. But you may probably be here because you're interested in a plant-based diet, you're interested in your health, you're interested in changing the way that you eat or adding in more healthful foods and recipes. And I think that is a huge thing that you could be looking at new growth-wise in your own life. Now, does it have to be a big difference? Do you have to throw everything out? Do you have to, start from scratch? No. Is it beneficial? Probably. Would I recommend it? Most certainly, because right now there's a lot of excuses. We all have a lot of excuses when it comes to diet. Things like, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough ingredients. I don't have the support of the ones around me. I don't have the know-how. Those are normally excuses, some valid, some just excuses. But right now, let's think of those excuses. I don't have the time. Well, even if you're working from home, you're still home another 16 hours a day. so you have enough time. I don't have the expertise. Well, have you ever had a better chance to be able to sit down on your computer and learn more about anything, right? Probably not. So you don't, that's not a valid excuse. I don't have the resources or the ingredients. Well, the ingredients and recipes that I use, easy plant-based recipes, are very cheap, inexpensive, and they're the ones that you're going to be able to find at your grocery store right now when almost everything else is out of stock. You should hopefully be able to find some rice, beans, potatoes, oats, corn, and quinoa. Simple ingredients, right? Non-perishables that your grocery store should be keeping stocked up on, and if not, there's another story to be told, and we've got bigger worries if we're worried about those staples not being in adequate supply here in the States and around the globe. And so now more than ever, this is the time for you to have this new growth when it comes to your diet, when it comes to your health, and I'm encouraging you. I think now you can try those new recipes. You might be home with a family and kids. You might be home by yourself. You might be home with you might be home. It doesn't matter who's there with your house. Now's the time to introduce them to more healthful recipes, to more healthy, whole food, plant-based recipes. Things like Dr. Miller and myself just had today, right? And Bridgette will be having later secondhand through Dr. Miller. But things like we have cooked brown rice that we seasoned with some chili powder and cumin. We have black beans that we seasoned with some adobo seasoning and then some nutritional yeast to add a little kind of cheesy flavor. And then we had some jalapenos. What else did we have, Bridgette? Well, what me and your mom had. Oh, we had that, and then seasoned potatoes. We had some cooked white potatoes that we had chopped up, and we had tossed in some of the same kind of Mexican seasoning, and we put those in the air fryer for a few minutes. So crispy little potato bites, and mixed that all together, and then I baked off some corn tortillas to be oil-free corn tortilla chips. Super simple. That meal probably took 15-20 minutes. I didn't make it today. I was doing some work in the office, but Dr. Miller made it. It was super great, super simple, and really delicious, and most of all, really healthy. And so that would be where I would recommend you start looking, is simple recipes, especially if you're running out of groceries. And I mean, I don't know, it may just be me, but if I'm going to have to go to a grocery store when we're talking about a pandemic, or we're talking about all these unknowns, I don't necessarily want to be moseying around a grocery store, picking 50 things up. I kind of want to get in, get out, and I kind of like that anyways. But I'm going to get in and get out. And so if all I need is some rice, some potatoes, some oats, some corn, some quinoa, maybe some shelf-stable plant-based milks, and maybe some seasonings, and a few ingredients to make hundreds of different recipes, that's where I want to look. So maybe new growth for you is thinking about sprouting up and starting that new diet, that new healthy plant-based whole foods way of eating that you've been talking about, that you've been mulling over, that you've been wanting to do. Now's the time to do it. So maybe in this time of uncertainty, this time when I think is really the best time for new growth, right? There's a lot of stresses. If I'm looking at some of these plants, I'm looking at, let me pull it here. If I'm looking at this potato is pretty stressed out. You think about putting a spud or putting a chitted potato or even a seed in the ground, it takes a lot of stress for that plant to even germinate. And beyond germinating, it takes a lot of stress for that plant to make its way up to the surface of the soil. And beyond that, it takes a lot for that plant to take that sun. I mean, just the most powerful thing, beaming down on it, to be able to utilize that for root growth, for root development, for leaf growth, and then for fruit development, for what we want to eat. It takes a lot of stress, but in the end, you get a tasty potato. And for you, that might mean better health. That might mean better relationships. I can't stress it enough. As we're talking about this pandemic and we're talking about all the worries and all the risk factors and how people are going to best defend themselves from it or best set themselves up for success when we think about it. We look at the blue zones, we look at long-lived populations, we just look at people that you know that are happy, healthy, and loved. That last part's really important. They're loved. And so now more than ever, I think it really is important to be calling your loved ones, staying connected with family and friends, staying connected with those that you may have lost connection with. And yes, you may have only been a 10-minute car ride away from them and you haven't talked in years. Well, maybe you're 2 seconds away from giving them a ring on the phone, reconnecting. And then when this is all over, and we're hoping it blows over, right? We're hoping that it is over eventually. When that happens, that reconnection can really fruit itself into, or come into fruition to the point where you have that friendship, you have that loved one there, and here our own self, right? I mentioned it yesterday or last video that Dr. Miller has been making a point to get on whenever she's with Bridgette, and Bridgette's kind of smiling and enjoying life, which is most of the time, but she also sleeps a lot of the time too, huh? Yes. And whenever she's kind of, oh, Bridgette's happy, she's smiling, no, she FaceTimes family, and they kind of join in this big group FaceTime. We do it with my family as well. We do it with other loved ones and friends, and it's just so important. And Bridgette doesn't know it because she's just smiling there. But for us, it's so important to be connected with loved ones, and for our loved ones, it's connected for them to be. It's important for them to be connected with the people that they care about. Now, may not be able to go over to a friend's house, may not be able to just drive over. Dr. Miller and myself and Bridgette, we were planning on heading to our families and friends back in another state this summer, which we normally do once a year. But with everything that's going on, that's looking like, and with the farm being so important now in growing our food, is it's looking like that's less and less likely. And so staying connected however we can do it is really important. And that may be the new growth, that may be looking at growth that's continuing, that you want to help flourish. But whatever it is, I hope you can really focus on it. And that's, I don't know, there's a lot that we don't have control of, and I talked about it last episode, and hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. And if you have any questions, let me know. We're going to keep doing this, Bridgette. I think we will. It makes it more fun if we have some questions, we have some comments that we can kind of address in the videos. And so hopefully in Vegan in Quarantine number 3, we can, we can go ahead and make some connections with you there. But we're just out here in the greenhouse, enjoying life, enjoying the heat, enjoying the warmth, enjoying the new growth that spring has to offer. And we hope that you do as well. And we hope that you use this time, this stressful time, this tough time, this time that is full of worry, full of unknowns, full of uncertainty, but also could be that turning point, could be when you decide, hey, now is the time to sprout that new healthy lifestyle, that new healthy diet, that new healthy relationship that I've been talking about, that I've been wanting to do. Now's the time to do it. No excuses. I forget who said it. I don't know if it was Anna Kendrick's, the personality, or a famous person, whatever. But I think she said, I'll never be able to use the excuse I don't have enough time ever again. And I mean, that rings true for a lot of people. Right now you think, oh, I could have done this, or I should do that, but if I only had the time, or if I only had the time to sit down and research it, if I only had the time to do this or that. And trust me, I understand. With a new baby here, a full-fledged farm, growing all of our own food, and running my own business, and then working, and there's a lot going on. But now more than ever, we really can just throw that excuse out the door and say, you know what? I'm going to make the time for it. I don't have any, I could watch Netflix, I could watch Disney Plus, I could watch Hulu till, the cows come home for the next month or months. But better than that, I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to do that research. I'm going to do that reading. I'm going to do that hard work that I've been putting off, but I have the time and I have the energy to do now. I'm going to make that change in my life, and I hope you do. I hope you really do. I know that's kind of been a time of reflection for us, has been able to say, wow, you know what? With the world has stopped. The world is still spinning, but if you think about the things that we all thought mattered so much, the economics, the housing market, the stock market, the health of, all these things that really do matter, but things that we thought, just as the world goes, they go around, they stopped like that. And so as that has stopped, now's the time for you to maybe get rolling on your own path, get rolling on your own decisions, get rolling on your own health, rolling on your own relationships. And that's really all we have today. Bridgette, do you have anything to add? We make sure to come out here for a good little bit and get our sunshine, get our vitamin D. And it's a little bright, I know. You're sleeping, but I don't think she has anything to add. We love you. We hope you have a wonderful day. If you haven't heard it already, we love you. Again, we love you. And these are uncertain times, but we're here for you. We'd love to answer your questions, and we just want you to know that you are loved, and we're gonna get through this. The world is gonna get through this. We all will get through this, and hopefully, and we're really hoping that we'll be better for it in the end. So we'll see you on the next episode of Vegan in Quarantine.